Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I'm your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci
What up?
and the man Stephen Comlow.
What up, dog?
For those of you keeping track at home, today is Tuesday, May the 5th, or as our friends from the South like to say, Cinco de Mayo, 2026 at approximately 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Holy shit, it's late.
Yep. If you're new to our show, we like to think of ourselves as the sports show for sports fans about sports. We like to focus on what happens inside the lines of competition rather than the outside noise, which dominates most of what you hear sports-wise nowadays. Now, before we get into our top catch for this evening, I remind you to follow us on all of our social media. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, and all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we're into our top catch for this week, and this week we went with the two best words in sports, and that is Game 7. There was one Game 7 in the NHL playoffs from the first round, and there were 3 Game 7s for the NBA in their first rounds. I'm going to start with the NHL Game 7, which was Montreal at Tampa Bay. Montreal, they didn't have a shot on goal in the entire second period.
Nope.
The entire second period, the Canadiens didn't have a shot on goal.
I don't even know how that happens.
Yes.
That has to be the first time.
It's the first time in postseason franchise history that they didn't have a shot on goal in a period. They also only had 9 total shots in the game, right? And at the end of the day, you would think they had to have lost. No, they wound up winning 2-1. I believe it's Newhook is who had an incredible goal to win, where he batted the puck out of the air off of the back of Andrei Vasilevsky, the Tampa Bay goalie, late in the third period to give them the Canadiens the 2-1 advantage and propel the Habs to victory. Montreal, 9 total shots in the entire game. It's the fewest shots on goal in a victory in NHL postseason history. Never before has a team won a game with so little shots, and this is a Game 7, by the way, right? Montreal goalie Jakub Dobeš, he's the first rookie goalie since Jordan Binnington in the 2019 Stanley Cup Finals to win a Game 7 on the road, which I thought was very cool. Dobeš, very impressive in this series. Yeah, I've been impressed with him all year, to be honest with you, because Montreal kind of came in with like a open competition, right? You had Montembeault, Dobeš, and I forget the other goalie, their third goalie, that they kind of gave shots to throughout the year, all the time. And Dobeš seemed to be the one to take the reins, and he showed why in this opening series against Tampa Bay. Again, like we say, championship pedigree team. Even though Tampa Bay hasn't advanced that far in the last several years, a lot of it due to running into the buzzsaw of their rivals, the Florida Panthers. You're still, John Cooper is arguably the best coach currently in the NHL, or possibly even the world. And Tampa Bay still loaded with juggernauts and future Hall of Famers. So for Dobeš to stand tall like he did, for the rest of the Canadiens to be resolute in their effort, which I contribute a lot towards their head coach, Marty St. Louis, because he was very much an effort player. When he played, we've heard it before, teams embody the personality of their coach. I feel like this team embodies the personality of Marty St. Louis, who he himself has championship pedigree, so lest we forget that. But I was very impressed with the Canadiens' effort and resolve and stick-to-itiveness in this entire series. Again, especially playing against such a team that's been there, done that before. I mean, Corey Perry was on the Lightning. Corey Perry's been on every team he's on wins in the last decade. One of those teams was Montreal when he was on them when they went to the finals, I think in 2020. So, you're going up against all that. You really haven't proven that much as their total roster, because back when they went to that final, very few of these guys were still on that team, if any. So good on Montreal. I thought a very impressive, very compelling Game 7.
Cream rises to the top. I mean, that's really
cream rises to the crop.
Yeah, cream rises to the crop. I mean, that's really what I mean. That's what that game felt like, though. I mean, Patty texted our group chat about it, which is unheard of, right? Making a request that we talk about this on the show. Usually,
I think AJ did.
Oh, was it AJ? I thought it was Patty.
He was
Sorry.
he said you have to talk about this.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
He probably lost some fucking bet.
He probably did, but
the over
it was
shots.
that Yeah, jeez.
Over
That's
total. Exactly what he lost.
Our
He
one
lost the
listener.
This team
over
is
on shots on
game
goal.
7. They're going to be ripping it.
How do you not have more than 10?
Yeah.
What the hell? They did more than double their number of shots in the third period from 4 to 9, which was incredible. But I knew Tampa was in trouble after that first goal went in for Montreal, and it was like no matter what Tampa did in that game, it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna be enough just because that first goal that went in. You go, oh my god, how did that possibly go in? That to be tipped like going completely off like towards the boards, and then happen to hit the one defenseman that's standing there and bank perfectly in. Like that's just not your night. And then the second goal, unbelievable hand-eye coordination, but also a absolute absurd goal.
Yeah.
So
So like
that kind of sucks. But it's also it's not the first time John Cooper's team has dominated shots and lost.
No, absolutely. I mean, for someone who's been coaching and has as many games under his belt, as many games under his belt as a traveled and storied man like John Cooper, like they're going to come across wins and losses in all shapes and sizes. Now, something that's not getting talked about, right? We've talked about Dobesh, we've talked about Newhook, we've talked about John Cooper. What we're like kind of like downplaying a little bit, and I haven't heard his name brought up once, not from you guys or any of the pundits, is that they won a game 7 with 9 shots against a Vezina finalist. Andrei Vasilevsky is a Vezina finalist this year, and
because you could argue he saved every shot.
It's crazy.
Those ones that went in were like I don't even know how they happened. Like that's how absurd the goals were.
Yeah.
That's a good point though. Yeah.
It's Andrei Vasilevsky, that giant goon. That guy is massive. That's a big boy. And to win a game against him and John Cooper and just the veteran presence of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been, I mean, you could argue that they've been a dynasty in the last like 6-7 years just because of like the success that they've had, right? I mean, their frequent presence and domination in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I think.
Well, yeah, what they've it was 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals appearances, two straight victories. The one loss, I think, was to Colorado. One of the years, the year before they won the Stanley Cup Finals, they had the best regular season record at the time of all time, and then they blew that series to Torts and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So you're right. They've been one of their brand is essentially what you're saying. I think they needed one more championship to be a dynasty.
I think we have
they're now a brand. They are. If you go to Tampa or in St. Pete, which I did a couple years ago, all of the stuff around Tampa and St. Pete is the Lightning, right? You're not seeing literally just everything people are wearing. Yeah, I mean, I think it was there in February, but still, everything people were wearing, every sign.
Do you pronounce the first R in February?
February.
Who's this Rue? By the way,
was the Lightning, not Tampa Bay,
no
Buccaneers,
careful,
not the Rays.
But to piggyback on Nick, I was in Arts in the Park in Richmond this Sunday. So before Game 7, lovely weekend, right? Lovely day. Out with the wife and daughter.
Okay.
And I saw a guy wearing a Yanni Gourde.
There we go.
A Tampa Bay Lightning jersey.
And I was like a black jersey alternate.
No, it was the Winter Classic jersey. It was the dark
jersey.
blue with the powder blue stripes.
Nice. Okay.
Or sleeve stripes. Yeah, I was like, that guy has a Yanni Gourde jersey.
That dude fucks.
It's Game 7, man. Yeah, exactly.
They're a brand. They're a bona fide brand in world hockey at this point. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean, for the Montreal Canadiens to pull that off, I think, I mean, wow, kudos to you. I mean,
still feel good about your Stanley Cup pick there, Nick.
Yeah,
they moved on, right?
They advanced.
A win is a win.
They didn't lose
a win
in the first round.
Is a win. Just ask Vin Diesel. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or by a mile. Winning's winning.
Is this Fast and Furious or this Chronicles of Riddick?
It's also a
pacifier.
Fast and Furious. That's also a really ridiculous quote for him to pull out because it was a quarter-mile race. What do you mean by a mile?
Thank you. Somewhere Paul Walker just rolled over in his grave.
I love
and tried to stick a middle finger out of the ground.
All right,
I've never seen any one of those. Not a second of any one of
you're
those
missing
Fast and
out.
Furious
You're
movies.
missing out, and I don't mind
I don't
telling
think
you
I
you're
am.
missing out.
I don't think I am.
No, it's because if you know what's coming, you can pick the exact moment where that franchise pivots from car movie to action movie. And it's about the time Dwayne The Rock Johnson gets off an AC 130 in Brazil and says, I got 2 rules. 1, I need a translator. 2, stay the fuck out of my way. Yeah,
Don't
that's
touch my
the
Percocets.
that's
Do you
the
have any
moment.
Percocets?
That's the moment. Yeah, exactly. Don't touch my Percocets, and do you have any fucking Percocets? But yeah, congrats to the Canadiens and all the other teams that have advanced to the second round.
Yes, and so again, that was the only Game 7 NHL wise. They had tons of opportunities, so there were many. Most of the series ended in 6 games because there were tons of opportunities to force Game 7s, just didn't happen. So very competitive there. On the flip side, the NBA normally the NBA first round is not that competitive because there's normally a pretty big talent effort and just cohesion disparity, effort disparity, and the top seeds and the lower seeds, and you know, because a lot of times those lower seeds that get in are teams that were kind of like on the fence of do we really want to get in or do we want to try to tank and lose more to get a higher pick so we could be one of the higher seeds, right? But the NBA first round did not disappoint. There really only 2 series that were non-competitive, and that was 2 I would have suspected: the Spurs and the Blazers and the Thunder and whoever the hell they played, the Suns, whatever, doesn't even matter. So everything else is very competitive, including again 3 Game 7s, and 2 of those Game 7s were erasing 3-1 series deficits.
Yeah, that's insane.
And what I thought was amazing is the team that erased the deficit in both series won. So the first one I want to highlight is the 76ers and the Celtics. We spoke at length about Boston. Yes, shocked. Yeah. But I thought this would be one of the least competitive series. We talked about the Boston championship pedigree. Your boy Joe Mazzulla from
Joe Mazzulla, West by God, Virginia.
Yep. Right. Brad Stevens in the front office. You still have Jaylen Brown, who's a phenomenal player. Jason Tatum is still obviously not fully 100% recovering from the Achilles tear from last playoffs. But again, you have the championship pedigree. They're up 3-1. Everyone in the world thinks this is over. This is done. It's phoning in. Wrong.
I stopped paying attention.
Well, I did too. I didn't realize I went to Game 7. I was like, how?
I didn't either. I saw people complaining.
Here?
They're like, the Celtics blew whatever. Like, man, it's so bad. Like, what are you talking about? That didn't happen. Like,
it did. Boston was up 3-1. They relinquished that series lead. Philly forces a Game 7 in Boston and wound up coming out on top of 109 to 100 or 109 to 103, something like that. Joel Embiid, 34 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. Tyrese Maxey, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Those 2 combined to shoot 23 of 44 from the field, which is 52%. So your stars showed out. They outdueled the stars of the other team amazingly. I mean, again, I've talked about before, Embiid, when he was in college at Kansas, still to me is the most skilled big man at the collegiate level I've ever seen. And that is not meant to be, put down any of the greats. It was the fluidity with which he moved and the ease at which he scored, his prowess at putting the ball in the bucket, no matter what. He literally has the total package of moves, right? Happy that it is just translated to the NBA level, because that's the kind of athlete he is, like just hand-eye touch, all those things. So not surprised for him, and again, this is an MVP, to rise to the occasion. But still, the Sixers, you look at them on paper, and there's some good players. Yes, again, Tyrese Maxey. Paul George is on that team, but, Paul George is, the twilight of his career. No, like, and not to put him down, but we know his highlight days are behind him. So you're not fully thinking that this is a team that can come back from a 3-1 deficit against the Celtics and all this stuff against them. So for them to do it, a lot of people say this points, as a negative to Boston. I looked at this like, holy cow, Sixers. Like, this is one of the most impressive things truly that you've done. And I could argue, in the franchise history of this team, this is up there with some of the things that they've accomplished, like AI getting to the finals.
They got blown out
Wilt
multiple
Chamberlain,
times.
Dr. J, Barkley years, all those different years there. Yeah. And for you to come back against...
They were blown out in multiple games in that series as well.
And to do it against Boston, who's a team that has sometimes been the bane of your existence.
They've done it. They've won a championship.
Yes.
They've been there,
and especially Boston right now. The Boston Celtics in recent years have looked as good as they ever have. I mean, we talk a lot on the show about, windows, and it seems like Boston is a team that's like really capitalizing on their window with the crew that they have. And for the Sixers, not only to hold on to force a game 7, but to move on to the conference semis is just truly like announce your presence with authority type thing. Because I think a lot like us, I think a lot of people overlooked them and thought, okay, Boston, we'll see Boston, but we'll see Boston in the conference semis. I think a lot of people wrote the Sixers off.
I think a lot of people penciled Boston in for the conference finals.
100%. 100%.
So I'm more impressed with the Sixers being able to do what they did than I am baffled by Boston blowing it. And maybe that's being optimistic or, wanting to look at the glass half full, but that's, again, to me, incredible for them to do that. Now, the other 3-1 deficit that got overcome was Detroit and Orlando. This was a series I was not shocked that this was very competitive because normally a 1-8 series ends the way the Thunder took care of business. In the East, the margin between like 1 and like 10 was not near what it was in the West. It's like so Orlando gets in as the 8th seed. It's probably like a 15-13 game difference in between those two and win-loss column. Yeah, it seems like a lot. You think about it, you get a couple games go either way for each of those teams in the regular season, and you're talking this is a 4-5 matchup, right? So there, to me, there's not that big of a talent disparity either with these teams. I think there's one of the Wagners was injured. I think that hurt for Orlando, but the Magic were up 3-1 in this series, and Detroit getting Game 7 at home I think helped. They got 30 plus points each from Cade Cunningham from
Oklahoma State.
Thank you.
Nice.
And Tobias Harris, both of them great games, great scorers of the ball, very great team, good team players as well. Like you don't sit there and watch a game with those two guys and see the balls like a pit when it goes to them, right? Some players, once the ball gets to them, okay, this is going to be a shot. Everyone just run to some spot and stand there. Yeah, it feels like with the Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris, those are guys that do a lot of, have done dirty work in their careers. They've gone through adversity of being on losing teams. So good for them to put that performance up. The Pistons advanced with that. Good for Detroit, right? This is a basketball team and franchise that really has not been successful for pretty much a generation. Let's be honest.
Go back to Isaiah Thomas.
Well, no. Remember after Ben Wallace,
the Ben Wallace
Chauncey
team. That's
Billups,
right. Yeah,
Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Earl Boykins.
That's probably
Let's
my
not forget
favorite.
Earl Boykins.
Yeah,
and Earl Boykins.
My
That's probably
apologies
my favorite
to Chauncey
starting
and the boys.
5. I think it's my favorite starting 5 basketball team ever.
It's great, yes,
Mhm.
because none of those guys are superstars.
Correct.
But they were all great,
and they stole one.
and they all had one thing in common: they
Tough motherfuckers.
hated losing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They played like they hated losing more than they loved winning,
Mhm.
and that's where you get that tough.
They're tough, dude. They're like embodied Detroit.
Yes, the
Right?
great teams. You're right. That is some of my favorite teams are them, right? But really, after those guys kind of aged out, what has Detroit done?
No.
Maybe had a couple years with like Andre Drummond, where they were maybe making the
I
playoffs or
couldn't
close
name
to
you
it.
a Detroit player since then, besides
Exa-
Cade Cunningham now.
Right. So for Detroit, for this group of, for the most part, young players, I know Tobias Harris is a veteran, but like for the rest of the team, for the most part, younger guys, haven't been there, done that. For them to make that comeback again, that's one of those things. I don't care that's against the 8th seed Magic. The Magic are a team that last couple years have been the 4 or 5 seed, right?
Yes.
So they've been experienced. They have way more experience than
They've been a
Pistons
very
do.
defensive-minded team in Orlando. I think
Yes.
on average, they allowed, like, the last couple of seasons, I believe Orlando's averaged the fewest points against than any team in the NBA. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely not a team to overlook.
Yeah, and yeah, so for me, that I was very impressed. That's another one of those that I'm
Mhm.
way more impressed with the Pistons being able to do this. I don't care that it's the 1 versus 8. You're supposed to. You haven't been there and done that. You don't know what that adversity looks like. So I'm more impressed with that than I would be, distraught over the collapse from Orlando or however you want to phrase it. So I think those 2 series fall into that category. And the other series that went 7 games is Cleveland Toronto. At halftime of Game 7. Between the Cavs and the Raptors, the teams had scored the same exact number of points and had the same exact shooting percentage across the entire series. So literally at halftime of Game 7, both teams across the whole series had scored the same points and shot the same percentage. It's literally as even as you could possibly be.
That's insane.
Nuts, right?
That's like, remember the old like Nike commercials where they were advertising the World Cup, where it was like the perfect footballer, and it was like players that don't risk anything, and they're advertising like risk nothing with perfect LeBron, and it's just like players who just play just perfect, like we don't do anything that's not statistically probable to end in points or something like that. That's what that reminds me of.
I mean, yeah, that
Or that,
incredible.
like Duke, like the Duke UNC graphic that always comes up.
Yes.
Yes.
Where like the same number of points across all the years, like
all of 80 years, and somehow they have like their one win apart, and they have the like 3 points from each other, and some ridiculous numbers there. Like,
Yes.
that's what that
Yeah,
reminds me of.
that's a good one. That's a good comparison.
In the second half, though, Cleveland center Jared Allen, he took over. And I loved the fact that it was a big man who's not out there just like, he's not shooting. He's dominating the way a big man dominates. He had, I mean, God knows how many offensive rebounds in that second half. He finished with 22 points and 19 boards, most of that coming in the second half as Cleveland advanced in a series that saw the home team win every game, which was interesting as well. So because that almost makes it sound more even. The fact that, like, the only margin for victory was
what
that
your
you had some home
advantage
court
was
the
advantage.
higher being the higher seed.
Yes.
Is what set them apart.
So that I actually was shocked at that series. I thought Cleveland was going to roll them, if I'm being honest. I good for Toronto being able to force this Game 7. Very shocked. I thought Cleveland just steamroll will be on to the next. So very exciting times there. Set up some intriguing matchups in the second round. For me, Knicks Sixers, extremely intriguing in that second round. In the East, in the West, you have, what is it? OKC and the Lakers, and you have Denver and no, sorry, not Denver. Minnesota, who dispatched Denver in 6 games. Minnesota is taking on Wemby and the Spurs.
And they took the first game down.
Yeah.
Which was, I believe, Anthony Edwards' return to the lineup.
Yes. Anthony Edwards, who we would have thought, no way he's coming back for this first game, comes back, played limited minutes. In the limited minutes, he already scored 18 points. Efficiently, too. I think it was like 8 for 13 shooting.
Yes.
Something like that. So, it's not like he was like, oh, I gotta go get mine, I'm just gonna start chucking in as a detriment. No, like that's leader, hero time is what his teammates said about it, because it is. He spent the last week literally rehabbing as hard as he possibly could because he got bent his leg back, got a deep bone bruise in his knee, right? And they're already down Dante DiVincenzo, who tore his Achilles a few games ago. So watch out for Minnesota. We said this 2 years ago, I think.
Yes.
That was the team we were on. Maybe this is their time. You don't want, of course, we jinxed it. Oh, it's done. They're gone.
Well,
but
Wemby had an uncharacteristically cold night last night as well. I think he was like 0 for 8 from 3, and like his field goal percentage was not good. I think he was shooting like less than 30% or something like that.
He's a young buck in the playoffs. It's different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it goes back to the Pistons type of thing, right? I don't think they've ever been in the playoffs before with Wemby. I think it's the first time.
Yeah, first time.
So,
they were dog shit. That's the reason why they got Wemby.
Well, hey, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. Like the Spurs got Tim Duncan.
The Spurs love drafting French guys.
Yeah, because they
the 1 year, because that year David Robinson got hurt.
Yes, he got hurt.
They were terrible because he missed like the whole year, and they sucked, and they wound up winning the lottery. And so Duncan went to a team that was already good, so, but
they had a top.
The Spurs were dog shit, right? So they get Wemby,
and they had a top pick.
Savon Castle has been phenomenal.
Yes, which I thought was a fantastic pick, because that immediately elevates your team. Like, that's
in all
champion.
Aspects.
Yeah, it's a champion that plays hard and knows what it's like to play hard and to push players and to do the dirty work, even as
play defense.
A featured player, yes, and play defense, and to help. Like, that was like the perfect complement.
Yes, and let's see, forget they traded for De'Aaron Fox, who ultra talented, has put up big numbers.
Sacramento.
Yes,
he was at Sacramento, right?
Yeah, by way of Kentucky, right?
Yep.
And I want to say they got Ron Harper's son too, Dylan Harper. I think they got who
Alabama.
No,
Rutgers, right? Rutgers. Yeah, that's right.
So, you have talent there. You're seeing, I think that you're right. That Stephon Castle element, that and kind of Harper, there's an element of toughness and grit there that you're
And
kind of.
Wemby apparently has the attitude of like,
Oh, I believe.
we're gonna
Yes.
win and I'm gonna be the best player, right?
Yes.
It's refreshing to see, right? But he is also very young, so you'll see nights like that, Kamala, where it's an off night for him, but that's part of the learning curve of getting to the postseason. Like once you get there, it's kind of like, okay, now this team should be there every year, and then you get the experience of it. And it's like, okay,
Yes.
now it's time to win championships. The first year you get there, like you're playing with house money, and sometimes you just pressure builds when you keep getting into the next round, and it just gets more and more difficult.
Yeah. But yes, again, a lot of times NBA playoffs, you have a little lulls and things get boring because of mismatches and again, talent disparities and organizational disparities. Like we've talked about it before. But this is shaping up to be very good. This is good for the NBA. They've needed this because they've been rife with corruption and integrity issues and effort issues and to see competitive series and to see so many of your stars are on display. Now you don't have them all, but you have a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them
Well, yeah, half the
are on
half the
display.
league gets into the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, but what? Yes. But what I'm saying right now in this section of
It's like
the
they
playoffs,
wanted that.
Duh. That's
They
why
knew what they were doing.
they knew exactly. That's why the play
Rife with corruption. Let's just rig the playoffs to have every star in there.
Correct. Right. So you have those things, or
somehow they still couldn't get Steph Curry in there this year.
May I take your hat, sir? May I take your hat,
He was in the
sir?
play-in. Oh God, he was in the play-in. Jeez, forgot about the play-in.
They finished they didn't even have 40 wins, and they were in the play-in. They could have been the 8th seed, or or the right. Yes. So when you have things like that, and you go, "What is this?" We see through. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see through what you're doing here. So to have those things go on, but yet to have these series be so competitive, and now in your second round of your playoffs, right? You're down to your final 8 teams, and you have so many stars playing at a high level. It's good for them. It's good for the NBA. So that helps precipitously for them. Anything else before we move on to our 3 strikes?
No, sir.
All right, Kamala, ready?
Oh, come on. Whoa. Stevie ready. Hey, come on, man. What are we doing? Lock in.
I'm asking because you hit the button.
Not you, asshole. Stevie's over here yawning. Come on, man. Lock in. We need you. Baba Ganoush.
Told you it was late.
Baba Ganoush.
Ring the bell, you
right.
pansy.
Just ring the bell, you pansy.
One.
Maybe it's the couple of Woodford reserves I've had in honor of the Kentucky Derby that's making me a little sleepy right
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's as good a segue as any for me to start talking about my strike, which no, go ahead, horse boy.
I did make a mint julep for the Kentucky Derby, which was delicious, by the way. Shout out Patty Van Nuys for so I made the simple syrup, but I also mint infused the simple syrup, which Patty told me about earlier. I was like, that's a great idea. Throw some mint in there, fresh mint from the garden into the simple syrup. Homemade mint julep. That was actually it was the best mint julep I've ever had. It was delicious. I mean, it's basically just bourbon,
it's the love
sugar
that you made
water.
it with.
Yeah, I mean, it's bourbon, mint, sugar water.
Mm-hmm.
But God, is it good. But anyway, if you missed the Kentucky Derby because you maybe have had too many mint juleps or Woodfords, and maybe your bets didn't work out and you were getting mad, but Golden Tempo wins the Kentucky Derby, going from last to first, by the way, on the home stretch, which is incredible. Cherie DeVoe, the trainer, is the first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby and the 6th female trainer to win a Triple Crown race.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Maine and Co.
Golden Tempo was 23-1 odds going into it. So pretty decent odds there to win. So if you had Golden Tempo, great name, by the way.
Yeah, that is a really good name.
There were some good names this year.
Yeah,
very good names.
Incredible. I wanted that one. That was my favorite.
6 Speed was the one I liked because back to the 6 shift days.
your
So I like
Jetta,
that one.
of your Volkswagen Jetta.
Oh yeah, it didn't have 6 speeds; it only had 5. But
Stevie, I thought you would have been a Renegade guy. I mean, that's
I was
isn't that,
waiting.
isn't that your song?
No, Blue Collar Man was my song.
Oh, okay.
Kayla was my wife was
that's the
cheering for
Pittsburgh
that one
song,
because
right?
it's the Steelers song. Yeah, so she was cheering for Renegade. I
Nice.
thought Incredibolt was such a great name. I had to go with that one.
Okay.
And then was it
Albus,
Great White?
Albus
Great White.
Dumbledore.
We were so excited to see a Great White race because it was such a massive horse, and then it tipped. I guess got too excited or whatever. Did you see that where it tipped?
It
No.
didn't. It straight bucked completely over.
yeah.
It flipped itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
the jockey's
luckily the
jockey.
jockey,
Damn horse didn't
luckily
land
the
on it.
jockey didn't get like injured because he could have died
Or
probably.
killed.
I mean,
Yeah.
he could have legitimately died.
Yes.
That horse apparently was
back, flipped all the way.
that horse was
lost
1,300 pounds.
Nobody parties like a jockey.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Nobody parties like a jockey. Thanks, Colin. But I thought it was an exciting race. We tune in every year thinking we know what the hell's going on with horse racing. It's fun to pick the horses. It's fun to see other people lose money because I don't gamble. So that was lovely, and to see the like the drone shot of the home stretch of Golden Tempo coming back was unbelievable. It was like the all 22 of like football. Like you get to see all the horses from that behind angle, and to see the horse weave in and out and just cook down that last straightaway was so cool. I don't know how many times there's been a horse that's gone from last to first, but that was pretty awesome.
That late,
Dude,
that
that
late race. It was literally the last
misses the
stretch.
jockey by inches.
Did you just
I'm
watch
watching
that?
it
Yeah.
right now.
crazy.
And then
That was the jockey's
just
first Kentucky Derby too.
the jockey's just standing there with a look of confusion afterwards, like Alex Cora.
Like I almost died.
Like what just happened?
Yeah, so they had to scratch. Unfortunately, they had to scratch the horse
Yeah.
and the jockey. So
Probably,
they had
probably
to
safe
shoot it?
thing to do.
yes,
Well, there's
I'm sure
clearly
it's-
something going on with that horse.
Thunder.
How'd my
It
horse
looks like
do?
I'm gonna have to put you down, but how's your leg? You ready to run?
How'd my
That's
horse do?
insane.
He had to be shot.
He's off to the glue factory.
Mutter
Yeah.
was a mutter, but yeah,
That's
it was
insane.
it's a fun race. Fun
It was.
race, fun build up, all the good stuff that happens with horse racing.
Yeah, I mean every time every year when this time of year rolls around when it's Kentucky Derby time, I just get flooded on my phone from like Google Photos of Asheville because
Yeah,
we took so many just debaucherous pictures. I mean maybe you guys
Allegedly.
didn't. I did. I
was
still
gonna say,
got 'em.
I was. Who cares about a picture?
That was the best.
bars over there.
That was like what an ideal Derby day.
it was perfect. We didn't even know what was going on, and then the guy was like,
No.
"Oh, by the way, we have a Derby party going
Yeah.
on tonight."
What?
Like, oh, okay.
Because wasn't it also Cinco de Mayo?
What's up
Yes,
with all
it
these?
was.
What's up with all
The
these
same day, or
boners
was it
wearing
the day
Maker's Mark
before?
hats? Remember all the Maker's Mark swag we got?
No, we got Hornitos.
No, that was at the basketball court. Remember, I started
yes.
sweet talking the bartender where the Derby was. He gave me one of the Maker's Mark hats. I'm pretty sure AJ still has it. He gave us a couple of Maker's Mark bow ties, some mint julep pins. Remember the mint julep pins?
Yeah, I remember the
Yes.
pins.
I
Yep.
missed all of this. Where was I?
Rare form.
I was probably defecating in a
Like it was just like it was
stall somewhere.
like it was Saturday of a week-long March Madness bender in
Yeah.
classic Nick form.
America.
Yeah, but man, yeah, that's what I think of every time the Derby rolls around now is just our trip to Asheville. That was so much fun.
That was
Yourself a mint julep.
Thank you. That's
Mhm.
the ghost of Stonewall
Ghost of
Jackson.
Stonewall Jackson.
No, I do want to go back to a horse race. I have been to
You went to
Multiple.
you were a Gold Cup guy, weren't you?
That's in what,
No.
Camden? What's the one in Camden, South Carolina? Is that
Carolina
Gold
Cup.
Carolina Cup.
Isn't where?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So
What's the race
what-
that happens up in Middleburg?
That's Gold Cup.
Yeah, that's Gold Cup.
I haven't been to that one. Been to Foxfield, which is the one in Charlottesville,
Mhm.
which is awesome.
You would fit in at Gold Cup. I feel like the Middleburg crowd, like you would dress to fit in with them. Like that's just your attire.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah,
Easter
you
pastel colors and linen.
Is seersucker?
Yeah.
Suit.
Nick is a big seersucker guy.
I just donated that jacket. It has a giant brown footprint in the back because after Foxfield on the bus coming home, someone's drunk ass girlfriend was just kicking the seat that I was sitting in, and her foot went right through the side, hammered me in the back, and I didn't get the seat up because again it was a horse race, and you've been drinking since 7 a.m. ish. So I was like, whatever. And then I think I walked under some like railroad crossing, and like shit was dumping on me. I was like,
crossings,
okay.
I feel like don't get along.
Railroad crossings. Goodness.
No, they don't.
Bad history there. That's bad.
By the way, the Kentucky Derby also always reminds you of Secretariat's
because they tell you every year. This year we got 28 descendants of Secretariat racing.
It was 18 of 19 horses. 18 of 19 were descendants of Secretariat.
Wait, were they really?
Was Great White the 19th descendant or the 19th horse that wasn't?
It probably was. Yeah, it probably was.
So
I don't know if that's
we ended
true.
up with 18 of 18.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, but there were 18 of 19 horses.
The plot thickens. Tinfoil hat time, boys. Get your tinfoil
hat. By the way,
hats.
Secretariat.
West Virginia? I don't know.
Seabiscuit.
No, it's Caroline County, Virginia.
Is he really?
Really?
Yes.
Where Combo is sitting right now?
Yes.
I haven't seen one statue.
The statue's in it's in Ashland, isn't it?
Is Ashland Caroline County?
At Randolph-Macon in Ashland.
That's not Caroline County, though. That's Hanover.
But I understand that. But Caroline County is the birthplace of Secretariat.
So what you're saying is we got to go steal our statue. Senior prank.
I pass it on the way to your wedding venue.
Well, I come from the other side, so I don't ever.
Well, because we'll say
they literally have.
The most amazing thing about Secretariat is not, like his Genghis Khan like lineage. It's the fact that he still has the track record.
Yeah, it's like
50
it's under
some odd years later, he still has the track record.
Let's talk about this Genghis Khan reference.
It's a smart joke for a smart crowd, and I'm not going to dumb it down for some bonehead mass audience.
Yeah. Wow, how magnanimous
I'm shocked
of
you guys didn't. I'm shocked you guys didn't know that Doswell, like that's where Meadow Event Park, I guess, has Secretariat birthplace tours.
Interesting. I didn't know
in
that.
Doswell, yeah. So
there's a lot of shitty things in Doswell.
Well, Secretariat's not one of them.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Birthplace of Secretariat, and there, I believe, the statue in Ashland, in downtown Ashland, next to Randolph-Macon, is Secretariat.
The center of the universe?
Correct. I have pictures in front of him. I believe.
Like on your
that
phone?
Was Secretariat. It's a horse. I know it's a horse.
You went out of your way to pose in front of a horse statue that you thought was Secretariat?
No. It's a horse, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Aren't you the horse from Horsing Around?
It's Secretariat. Secretariat Monument.
Okay. Is it a Pokestop?
It was, yeah. I believe it is.
It's gotta be.
It's a really cool It's a really, really cool statue.
Yeah, I straight up did not know that. That's a fun fact.
I don't see what the big deal is. It's just a mini a little pony. It's a mini horse.
It's a pretty cool horse.
It is sweet.
It's a cool statue.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. I like its points of contact with the ground. That's very cool.
It's a really good statue. Okay. It's really cool, and that's always it's a conversation piece. Oh, I didn't know Secretariat was from Virginia.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, look at the conversation that you sparked. That was very good.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. That's how
and we're drinking a Woodford.
That's how we podcast, baby. That's how you do it. If you're still listening, take notes.
Oh boy, yeah. It's still.
That's two. Rule 2 for starting a podcast: have all the autonomy. I control when the button is pressed. If I press the button, it's because I wanted to, not because you told me to. All right. Strike 2. Here we go. So Miami Championship was this weekend, or I think the Cadillac is what some people will call it. The Miami Championship. Saw Cam Young go wire to wire, win by 6 strokes over a pretty competitive field, mind you. He had Scotty Scheffler finishing in second place at -13. to par. Cameron Young finished minus 19 to par. What I love about this is it's Cam Young. It's Cam Young. Since he won last season, the PGA Tour has been his oyster. I mean, he's just rifling off wins and he looks really good. But what's super interesting about what I think you guys will find interesting about it, what I find interesting about it, and what the rest of the PGA Tour should be terrified of is Cam Young is putting worse this year than he did last year. And he's still winning. In fact, his 2 wins this year were the only events that he played in where he gained close to a stroke from putting. But yeah, statistically, he's rolling the rock, not as good as last year, but in his standout wins at the Players and with the Cadillac Championship or the Miami were by far and away, by a large margin, his better putting performances of the season so far. I mean, what a year that Cameron Young has been having. I mean, he got his first win last season, was really the only bright spot of our Ryder Cup team, if we're just being completely honest. He was the only player in the red, white, and blue that was worth watching at the Ryder Cup. And now he's rifled off 2 wins, one of which people have dubbed the 5th major. I mean, it's incredible. I love Cameron Young. And I'm super excited that, he's just gotten right back to where he left off last season. I believe this was also either a signature event or an elevated event this year. Nick, you might know off the top of your head if it was or not.
Wasn't this that Trump Doral, the Blue Monster? I could see it being one of those which is why they had an elevated field.
Yeah, I mean, like you scroll through the list. I mean, Akshay's there, Tommy Fleet was there, Shane Lowry's there, Sahith, Scotty, Ben Griffin finished solo 3rd place at minus 12 to par, which is awesome. Adam Scott was up there. I mean, you name it, they were here. I think the only person that was notoriously absent from the field was Rory McIlroy, because he made a point to say, yeah, I'm not going to be there. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I was very, very, very impressed with a wire-to-wire performance from Cameron Young. I mean,
can you name Cameron Young's college?
Is it Wake Forest?
That's correct. Bingo.
Really? He was a Demon Deacon?
Wake Forest is a power. Didn't Arnold Palmer go there?
Wake Forest is a power.
Yes.
They have another pro.
Oh, several. Several big time.
From Scarborough, New York.
Yeah.
To Wake Forest.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, I really just wanted to talk about it because I think that the pace at which he's going, Cameron Young's going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. I could see him ripping through a win at Shinnecock. I think that would be a very good.
What did you just call me?
I think that would be a very, very good spot for him. Also, I know that the Truist is coming up at Quail Hollow this coming week. I think that could also be a very good spot for him. I mean, that's going to be very difficult. I know that's also going to be a very elevated field. So, I mean, it could be difficult for him. But
yeah, so
Cam Young is going to be very, very fun
about
to watch
the signature events combo.
Yeah.
The Cadillac Championship, this was a signature event. So was the RBC Heritage couple
they love
ago.
making that a signature event because they don't like
that one I feel like normally is
because A, they want RBC to stay on as a sponsor, and B, they don't like people taking the highest rated golf weekend. They want to cash in on that, so they don't like players taking the next weekend off after the Masters.
But also this weekend, the Truist at Quail Hollow in Charlotte. Right, that's where that is, in Charlotte.
Yes.
That's also a signature event.
So we have 3 in a row.
Was there nothing after the RBC Heritage? I thought there was one of
No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so 3 in a row. And then the next you'll get the Memorial at Muirfield and the Travelers, which is I feel like always one of those as well at the end of June, right? That's TPC River Highlands. Isn't that Connecticut? Yes, Cromwell, Connecticut. That one very frequently is a signature event. That's one of the bigger ones ever, like normally one of the bigger ones. So that's the last signature event though, is the Travelers at the end of June, which I find interesting.
That's pretty
cool. You want to take a guess at Cam Young's career earnings? He turned pro in 2019. He's currently 28 years old, and he only has 3 PGA Tour wins.
All of them within the last.
I'm going to say 47.
No.
Yeah, you're a little high.
Too high?
Yes, Nick's too high.
If 47 is too high, I'm gonna go 35 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. It's 36.
That's good. That's very good.
That's
He's
pretty damn
he's
good for
been in
3 career
he's
wins,
been in the
5 top
conversation.
10s.
He's been in the conversation, and the players is a huge one to win. The purse at the players this year had to be massive.
Now, how much has he paid in taxes?
I'm sure he lives in Florida. Well, I guess, but you
Well,
pay
no, does it?
at your
It's
at where the
job
event
tax.
is, right?
Mhm.
He has to pay the tax
job
for
tax.
wherever
No,
the.
I think it's a little different for golf though, isn't it? Because golf is like a meritocracy, right? All the golfers are independent contractors because they're not contracted by the PGA. They're extended a membership.
If you're an accountant,
Yeah, all the golfers
please tell us.
are independent contractors. They pay
So different than if I'm like playing for the Minnesota Twins.
correct, because the Twins would arrange your travel, would arrange your lodgings, would
But-
arrange everything. Whereas like with golf, you do all that yourself. It's all on
But
you.
like,
And you only get paid what you earn. You
but
know,
a band or a comedian gets the job tax as well. And you would think, right, like that Jerry Seinfeld's his own independent contractor, right? Like
you're taxing my jock, right?
yeah. So I don't know. That is
First of all,
actually
income
that's a very
tax is illegal.
thank you. Thank you. That's an interesting thing that'd be interesting to look up. This is a very like the Geico commercial, or was it Progressive slowly becoming your parents? That's what this is. What do you make before tax?
Yes, professional golfers pay the jock tax. They are considered independent contractors who must pay state income taxes on tournament winnings in each state or country where they earn money, often referred to as a jock tax. So I'm assuming that like it's probably like everyone has like a different tax rate based on like, you know, if you're an independent contractor based on like, I mean, for us, like your W-2, right? Like,
Well, no,
what you're-
but it's jock tax only affects professional athletes and like entertainers. So like even if you're doing, because we went over this, right? Like the boy goes down and flies a site in Atlanta, he's not having to file Georgia state income tax for doing his job there because
so
he's not
that's why so many golfers live in Florida, Texas, and Nevada to avoid additional taxes on top of the jock tax. Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
You get to play golf year-round.
For Cam Young winning in Florida, he's making more money than if he wins the Travelers in Connecticut.
Though he's also making more money. All right, so here's an interesting. So since golfers have independent contractor status, they don't have additional taxes withheld by the team. Like, so your Twins reference, right? If you play for the Minnesota Twins, the team is going to withhold tax probably on top of your jock tax. Whereas golfers, and I guess you could probably say tennis players too, would be in there for that independent contractor stuff, don't have another hand in the cookie jar, so to speak.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
The more
the finger thing means taxes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's punch them out, boys. You ready? Don't say freeze frame. Just do it.
So for my strike, I'm going with the University of Virginia men's lacrosse team. So the Wahoos took down number 1 team in the country again.
Mini back.
When they beat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 15-10 in the semis of the ACC tournament in Charlotte, excuse me. And then they kicked the absolute crap out of UNC 16-6 in the final to claim the auto berth out of the Atlantic Coast Conference and finished the season with a record of 10-6, but they are 7-2 since their 3 overtime loss to Maryland. It's UVA's first ACC championship since 2019 and earned them the 5 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Goalie Jake Merrick, who we've talked about before, is the grad student from Air Force Academy who's also like working 12-hour shifts at the hospital because he wants to be like a special ops medic, I believe. He earned most outstanding player honors after he stopped 16 shots against the Tar Heels in the final, and he stopped 12 shots in the semis against Notre Dame. The Hoos will host their first round game at Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville against Georgetown on Sunday. Jake Merrick would like to, I don't know if you saw one of the highlights. He literally made a save laying down. Did you see that?
I saw that.
I did see that.
That was making its round on the socials.
Yes. I mean, it's because what's great about that save too is if you watch it live from the regular camera angle, everyone and their mom thinks the defender steps in and like takes one off of the leg, you know, in the scramble, and then they show the other angle and you slow it down. It's like,
nope,
son of a bitch. This guy stick saving a beauty. Good
So
for Jake Merrick, a guy who literally, we talked about this, open job, like open competition,
Yeah.
and came here to UVA. Again, he's there not to be a lacrosse player. He's there to do whatever residency or grad program that he's doing at the University of Virginia Health System to train to be a special ops medic, and goes, hey, coach, you need a goalie? Sure. Dude steps in and just wins most outstanding player in the ACC tournament. One of the most competitive, storied conferences in the country. All 5 teams in the ACC are some of the biggest brands in men's lacrosse. So good for Jake Merrick. That's a still incredible story the more he keeps going.
So something that I saw that came out of that UNC game, and Nick, you might know because I think you're kind of more tuned into lacrosse than Stevie or I. And if you don't know, this could be something we ask Rex next time we talk to him is how often do players get tagged for illegal sticks? Because we saw, what was it, Ty English?
Wow.
Ty English got a 1-minute penalty for illegal pocket depth when a stick check was called on him. And, I think for most sports fans, when they hear like illegal equipment, right, we would go back to something like Marty McSorley, like, oh, he's doing this shit on purpose. But with lacrosse, it's a little different because like pocket depth is something that can just happen from wear and tear. If that's a stick that he's used frequently and has practiced with, if like that's just his stick and like maybe you either forget, it doesn't necessarily indicate something nefarious, right?
It's a yes or no. You bring up the Marty McSorley thing. It's on those lines, right? It's one of those things where you go, no one's ever going to check it. You're not going to get called on it. Even if you do, it whatever.
It's
right. Same
1
thing
minute
again,
penalty.
with the curve of the stick. That whole story. I think we've talked about it before, where it's like the legend that they sent in a spy to the King's locker room
to
to
measure
look
their
for
sticks.
to look, and they found one, and they said, "Oh, if something happens, we'll have this in our back pocket." Right? I don't think that was the case here with UNC. Right? I don't think UVA called for a challenge. I think in lacrosse they do random, like almost like a random drug screening. Like they do a random like check, kind of like when you have the metal bats, and they do like a random check of like, is this bat legal or not? That's kind of what that's on the lines of. Like you said, Kamala, yes, your pocket depth could change based off of that, but for the most part, like,
Yeah, because this was just
and again,
randomly in the first quarter.
for the most part, guys' pockets, and you're right, Michael Rexrow could speak to this way more intelligently than we ever could. But for the most part, you're on skirting that line with your pocket because, it behooves you. There's an advantage there to have it as deep as you can because it allows you to keep possession more. Yes, it changes the type of whip that you have. So some guys, I mean, it's one of those, again, preference things. Some guys don't like it super deep.
Yeah.
Some guys do, but it's one of those things where he knew his pocket depth was skirting the line.
It ended up,
but
UVA ended up scoring on the man up.
Yeah, never thought it would get called. And again, if the penalty is just, you get a 1 minute man down, yes, like you said, they scored on it, but oftentimes you would, okay, you almost take it as like this kind of thing happens.
Stevie, did you see it? Did you see the pocket?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw the picture of it.
It was pretty fucking deep.
It's but that's also something where like, I mean, every like, I mean,
look at that crater.
Yeah, but
I can't tell with men's lacrosse.
Though.
Yeah, with men's lacrosse sticks, like I have no idea.
Because
I feel like it's just one of those things, like when you know it, and like looking at that, like, yeah, I know it.
Well, what I remember how they determined was they put the ball in the pocket.
Right.
They put the ball in the pocket, and if the ball has to be touching or above,
the top of the ball has to go over the threshold of the bottom of the frame or something like that.
Right, and there's no way in that one it would.
No, you see nothing but mesh.
But so many guys, I guarantee you, are skirting that line.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of them have illegal sticks. I have to
so
think
you think like so here's alternative theory. He had an illegal stick going into the game, and like over the course of that like first quarter, he just receiving the ball a little too hard, and it like expanded the pocket a little bit to make it look even more egregious. I don't know. That's something that we got to keep in our pocket to talk to Rex about. I'm curious.
I'll clip. Yeah, I was gonna clip this one and send it to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to hear a professional's take on it.
Yeah.
And since we have access to one, Rex, call me up. Return my texts.
No, you're kissing Chase Utley, and that's it.
Yeah.
He would have written, if he got them, he would have written back.
Yeah. Holy shit, there's stickers.
Anything else before we move on to our favorites?
No, I'm so ready for this.
I know you are. All right, that's going to take us to our favorite segment, brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. This week, we went kind of on a different route here. We each had a task to create our own salary cap compliant NHL roster, like our favorite, who we would want if we gave us the salary cap, which we somewhat contentiously determined was $95 million total for your roster. So it has to be a full 23-man roster, three scratches, 3 goalies.
I thought you said 2.
3 healthy scratches.
You said 2.
You said 2.
You said 2.
You said 2. We'll go read back through the text.
Well, because one of the scratches is your third goalie.
You said...
You said 2 scratches.
Yeah, you said 2 healthy scratches, Nick.
An NHL roster is 23 players.
Well,
and 20 of them dress. Whoever it is you want to dress who you want. There's 20 people who dress.
We know that, but that's not what you said to do.
Oh, Jesus.
Just saying, wear it.
You said a full active roster, including 2 healthy scratches.
Yes, because the other healthy scratch is your third goalie, so I didn't think I had to specify that, but whatever. It's fine.
All right, next lineup is illegal.
You should have 23 people on your roster. Well, you guys had 22 people?
That is a violation.
That is a violation.
We'll just say my third scratch is IR. He's not healthy at all.
Right,
that's what I'll do. My third goalie is
it's Mark
IR.
Stone.
I have 1
You only have 2 goalies.
We only have 2 goalies.
But you have an extra skater.
We have 2 healthy scratches and a starting goalie and a backup goalie.
Okay.
Correct.
So you just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. That's fine. Your third player is a
Tim Thomas is hurt.
All right. Who wants to give let's go through your 4 lines, your D pairings, your goalies, and then your scratches.
Gladly. I will go first.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to set the bar
shit.
so you guys...
Holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. There's a presentation.
Oh, God.
So this is my cap compliant team with a $95 million ceiling. I was under the impression we were doing an $88 million ceiling. Stevie came in at the last second and changed it while I was on the golf course. Thanks a lot. So I had no time to prepare for an additional $7 million. Okay, so here we go. This is my cap compliant team. We're going to start off with forward line 1. Forward line 1. Welcome to the fucking show. At left wing, we have Jason Robertson. His salary, $7.75 million. We'll total all this up at the end. It all makes sense. We have Nathan McKinnon at center, Brandon Duhaime on right wing. I got Jason Robertson and Nathan McKinnon speak for themselves. I need somebody out there with them that A, is not going to eat up a lot of the salary cap, and B, is also going to be just a hard, grinded out skater. Brandon Duhaime, in the time that I've seen him in Washington, that's what you get out of him, right? He knows he's not the flashiest player. He knows he's not the most skilled player. I believe this is a guy that's going to complement Jason Robertson and Nathan McKinnon. He's also going to be the guy that's going to go out and probably, step up and step between them and somebody else. Okay, so I got Brandon Duhaime at right wing. Line two, we got Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov going for $9 million. We have Macklin Calabrini, an absolute steal on a rookie contract, and then we have Alex Tuck on the right wing. Again, I think this is a line that is, in terms of eliteness, is not far behind my first line. Big fan of how all 3 of these guys play. I'm also a very, very big fan of Macklin's first year in the league, especially being in San Jose of all places. I really, really enjoyed what I saw out of him this year. And I think that the one argument you would have for him and probably some of the other younger guys on my team that are going to be on rookie contracts uh, is going to be you have the young guy curve, right? You have the learning curve there, right? There's no evidence that they're going to be able to reproduce what they're doing. It could just be a lucky freshman year, but I think the future is very very bright for him and quite frankly for the rest of this line here. Line number 3, give me Brendan Saad on the left wing, Ryan Leonard, again, another rookie, coming out of Boston College that I've really enjoyed watching play in Washington. And then I got Anthony Mantha from the Penguins. Watching him in the playoffs here, this is gonna be some recency bias, but watching what he did for Pittsburgh in the playoffs this year was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed, and I do believe I kinda shit on Pittsburgh early on, uh, in the NHL season, saying that they weren't doing Sid the Kid justice and that they kind of were just mailing it in. But watching what Anthony Mantha was doing was really fun to watch.
Yeah, Mantha's always been a highly touted
Yeah,
prospect going back to I think Detroit is where he was before he went to DC.
yeah.
But he was always one of those guys that was like, oh, this guy has like 40 goal potential. So
Yes,
he's
he does.
always had the skill.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. The skill's always been there, and he's a lot of fun to watch. Um, Fourth line, I got Taylor Hall at the left wing, for obvious reasons. I got Dylan Holloway playing center, and I got Garnett Hathaway. Garnett Hathaway's in this lineup, frankly, because I need somebody who's going to go out and just chuck knucks. I need a guy who's not afraid with going out and starting and finishing a little Donnybrook. And that's what you get with Garnett Hathaway. You're going to get a guy who will get you a handful of goals, maybe, if you're lucky over the course of a season, but he is going to be a brute force enforcer, right? If you have guys that are messing with any line, you can plug and play him anywhere. As you can see, I've left a lot of room um, throughout my lines to be able to plug and play Garnett Hathaway where he needs to go. Um, Taylor Hall, again, obviously, like I said, speaks for himself. He plays in Carolina. He's really good. He's a veteran of the league. He's going to be a good locker room guy. In Dylan Holloway, I just got mad respect for that guy's game. I mean, it's impressive to watch what that guy can do. Also, he played with McDavid, right? He played with McDavid for a little bit. So, I mean, you got that going for you as well. D line pairing 1, I got Charlie McAvoy and I got Cole Hudson. Cole Hudson, rookie contract. You can see how he doesn't even have an official NHL photo yet. This is his picture from college. That's how young he was. But watching the short, again, rookie contract, so it's a steal for me. But watching what he was able to do in Washington with limited time and limited experience in the pros was enough for me to pick him. Charlie McAvoy, we're going to pair him with Cole Hudson because I need a veteran who's going to be able to just kind of pick up the slack and, assist with that learning curve in his D partner. Line 2, you can see there's not a lot of room here. I got Jacob Chikrin and Shane Gostisbehere, the Ghost, as some call him.
Ghost Bear.
I
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
Gostisbehere.
I see. So Gostisbehere
Great name.
at one point when he was coming up on free agency, he was favorited to go to Washington, and when he didn't, I was very disappointed. I love the Ghost. And then Jacob Chikrin, obviously, you have a guy who can play on the blue line, can quarterback a power play, can play on the shorthanded lines. He's going to add a little bit of offense. I think in this day and age of the NHL, yes, we say offensive defensemen don't win you Stanley Cup games, but they can lose you Stanley Cup games. But you got to have some sort of production from the blue line. And Jacob Chikrin's stats this year indicate that he is all for not just scoring goals from the blue line, but also generating a good amount of assists with his cycles and
Yeah, I
his
was gonna say
wheels.
Chikrin. I think gets unfairly labeled as an offensive
Yeah.
defenseman. I think he's a solid two-way defenseman.
Hmm.
His offensive game stands out.
Hmm.
Sometimes you see those guys and you go, "Whoa, man, he just did something that these other defensemen can't do." I believe he's a very solid
Yeah.
defender.
He was a great pickup. I believe we got him from Arizona. Um, Uh, but yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch, and it was awesome to have him and John Carlson on the same line. Back when Carlson was still in DC, and then Gostisbehere is just that's a fucking brute force, man. Watch any shift that guy plays. for Carolina, and I guarantee you're going to see some really tight puck movement, and he's also going to throw the body around a little bit as well. He'll finish his checks. Really, really solid player there, and frankly, for 3.1 mil, I think that's a steal. D-line 3, I got Luke Shen and Brent Burns. You got to have a Brent Burns type on your team. You got to have a Luke Shen type on your team. Why not stick them together? I'm just a big fan of both of these guys. Brent Burns has been kind of a rambling man lately. So you see he is kind of like on that.
He looks like a nomad.
Yes, yeah, right. Yeah.
Isn't he the oldest skater in the NHL?
I believe he is. He might wait, is he older than Ovi?
I swore I heard he's the oldest skater in the
Let's
NHL.
get somebody on that, because that's interesting if he is. He doesn't look it. But yeah, I do really, really enjoy Brent Burns' game. That's a guy who, like, he doesn't care about his appearance. He's willing to risk it all just to block a shot. Give me Brent Burns and Luke Shen on that last D pairing. For my goalies, I mean, if you're not picking Connor Hellebuck to be your starting goalie, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So both of you are on notice if you don't have him. And for 8.5 mil, I do think that's actually a steal. This is the greatest goalie the United States of America has ever seen. So you got to have this guy on
By
your
the way,
team.
Brent Burns is 41 and Ovi's 40.
Okay, all right.
41.
He doesn't look it.
It's incredible.
And yeah, and to play as hard and as successful as he does, wow, good for Brent Burns. And then my backup goalie to Connor Hellebuck is a guy who I'm suffering from a little bit of recency bias. Alex Lyons is incredible to watch. This is a guy who was sharing starts all season in Buffalo with Luukkonen. And after Luukkonen gets tuned up for 4 goals against Boston, Alex Lyon has stepped up into the starting role and has not shown any sign that he's going to surrender that role back to Luukkonen. They were sharing starts all year. I think Alex had I think 34 starts, and I believe Luukkonen had 37 starts or something like that. So they were very back and forth, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Nick. With the 2 goalies you brought up, I can't remember who was it. The Canadiens goalie?
Yes, Montreal.
Yeah, Dubesh, right?
Yeah, Dobish and Montembeau, and I thought they had a third guy in the mix.
Probably. But I mean, this is just to rise to the top and to show and flaunt your stuff when it matters most in the Stanley Cup playoffs for a team that, like, frankly, is quite overdue for a series win against a team that, like, has just always been notoriously very, very good against Boston. So yeah, I gotta have him backing up Connor Hellebuck. For my healthy scratches, I went with a couple of, I didn't put Nolan Foot's salary in there. I think he's like $750K, whatever. I'm below the 95 that we raised it up to for no reason. But so forward, I got Hendrik Lapierre. It's a good plug and play player, great speed, able to go in and get it done. He can play on the wing. He can play at the center spot for 850K. And then I got Nolan Foot from Florida, who can also be a very good plug and play player as well. Now, just to break it down, bottom line price, I spent $87.81 million, which is obviously below whatever the limit is that we're just arbitrarily deciding for no reason.
Okay, no, we're not arbitrarily deciding. I want this on the record. You picked the 24-25 season salary cap, not the 25-26 salary cap. And by the way, next year's salary cap goes up to 4 million.
Cool.
106 million.
Cool. Well, I hated this exercise.
So,
we're not doing it again.
The salary cap for 25-26 is 95.5 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's just announce it at the last hour while I'm on the golf course and can't change my team. All right, so let's go by the numbers real quick.
You should have known
Let's go a little more. Let's go by the numbers. So this
Do you
team,
want to add a third goalie, by the way? Because you have like 9 million.
I don't need one. I don't need one for the afterlife.
Oh, you did a whole by the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by the numbers, this team, going off of their 2025-2026 stats, amassed 387 goals, 557 assists for a total of 944 individual player points. This is 124 more points than the President's Trophy winning Avalanche from this season. So I feel very, very good about the team I've assembled here. Given that I have good goal scorers, I have guys that can move the puck. The NHL and ESPN don't officially track and give a sortable stat for hits, but I know that this team is amassing over 1,000 hits in a season easily. That's I swear to God, that's bond, brother. That is so true. This team is amassing over 1,000 hits in a given season. So I have no doubt that this team is a deep, deep playoff contender. That is my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see what kind of effort you bozos put up with your $95 million. Thank you for the snaps. I appreciate it. It's hot in here.
All right, boy, go.
I definitely didn't have that, but I do have a little spreadsheet that I wanted to go with. Okay, so
my pocket
I did.
protector.
Zoom.
Well, and your presentation looked really good. I will say that.
Thank you.
Like,
I put a lot of
very
effort
good.
into it.
Yeah.
The
All right,
Prime
so
Canvas subscription is worth every penny.
So my philosophy here was, one, I wanted the stars that I wanted, right? So I was going to spend the money on a couple of the guys that I wanted. Two, I wanted to go with speed. So one of my stars that I really loved was Matthew Tkachuk, but Tkachuk is slow as shit. So I needed to balance that out with some speed, which is why I got Martin Necas
Okay.
as my center, playing with Tkachuk, and Adrian Kempe as my right winger, playing there. I then went with Hagel, another speed guy, Macklin Celebrini as the center there, and then Matt Boldy as my right winger for line 2. Line 3, I went with Jesper, and then I went with Connor Bedard, and then my right winger, Tom Wilson, just for you, Kamlo, because I needed to get another toughness person, because a lot of speed guys. I got to
That
throw
is
another
a
toughness.
lot of money for Tom Wilson. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a lot of money for a third line right wing.
It is. Yes, it is.
You say that, but to be honest with you, the more I look through some of these salaries and all these players,
I was shocked at how high the salaries were.
That doesn't seem that egregious to me, because for what Wilson brings for your team that are intangible things, right? And lest we forget, he's a former first round pick. He's extremely skilled, so he's not a straight goon. Alice, you're not paying $6.5 million for a goon.
No,
you're paying $6.5 million for a true
good
power forward who will do all of the things that no one wants to do.
I also think it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm assuming all of us will have Celebrini because of how cheap he is. Like, you have to go with those rookie contracts. That's why I went Bedard as well.
Yeah, I mean, having the two of them up there.
Yeah, I wanted to go psychopath meets speed meets skill here a little bit. And then there's a couple guys here which I don't even know if I can pronounce their names. Pavel Dorofiev. Yeah.
Dorofiev.
That guy. Cutter
Gauthier.
Okay, there we go. And Jackson Blake. I can pronounce Jackson Blake.
There you go. Yeah.
But that'll be my fourth line there.
Finish strong.
Yeah, that'll be my fourth line. And then go into my defenseman, Jacob Slavin. I love Jacob Slavin. I just think he's he's probably my favorite defenseman in the NHL.
Secdef.
I think he's Secdef. Exactly. I love Jacob Slavin, but I wanted to pair him with Quinn Hughes because, as Nick has pointed out several times about offensive defensemen not winning you Stanley Cups. But if I compare him with Jacob Slavin, I feel like I can balance it out, and I get
Quinn Hughes is also a different beast since he moved to Minnesota.
I agree with that.
Yes. He's a different beast. He's happy. He's happy.
And then I think you had Kamala. I think you had Lane Hudson.
I had Cole Hudson.
Oh, you had Cole Hudson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
But I think they cost the exact same amount.
Yeah, they're both on that rookie contract stuff.
On the rookie contract. So I went Lane Hudson, Thomas Harley. Thomas Harley, is it Thomas?
Just go Thomas.
Thomas.
Trader is what. He's an American who played for the Canadian team.
Benedict Arnold.
Gotcha. Okay. Probably shouldn't put him on that team.
That's
and
fine.
then Jake McCabe and Darren Radish.
So
yes, Radish at 9.75. I thought was a steal.
Yes, absolute steal. Absolute steal. What a value pick.
I was shocked.
That's Costco
that
wholesale
he was that,
right there.
Because I was looking at, there was a lot of defensemen. They were all in that like 6.5 to 8.5 range. And I was like, why is this person worth that? And then I found Radish and I was like, he's only worth that. So had to go with Radish. And then Hellebuck, obviously, Kamal, you pointed out, you have to have him.
You have to have Connor Hellebuck. If you don't.
Yes.
Nick has a look on his face like he didn't.
Nick, because of course he didn't, because he went with some random.
Not random.
I went with backup goalie Vladimir Dostoevsky, who
just released from the Kremlin.
What I really, sorry, you still have your healthy scratches to go through. Go through them real quick, but I have some thoughts on your lineup.
Well, my backup goalie Dan Vladar. I did see him. He played for Philly.
Still
better check yourself, boy.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Isn't he Czech? Dan Vladar.
Probably.
Thank you for that. And then my healthy scratches.
Your brother.
Yeah, Danila Yurov.
Mm-hmm. Value pick.
Lundqvist.
Yeah. So scroll back up to your forwards real quick. So something that I really like, and like again, if we had more viewers, I feel you would have probably caught flack for a lot of these picks, but they're sneaky good picks. Martin Necas, not a guy who moves a lot of merch outside of his team arena, right? I feel like a lot of people aren't going to talk about and put a lot of respect on Martin Necas. Martin Necas, who finished, I think, tied for 7th in points. He had 100 points this season. Elite center. Matt Boldy is another one. Sneaky pick coming out of Minnesota. That is another guy who I believe was top 20 in points, a 40-goal scorer this year.
It's another Team USA guy.
Yes. Adrian Kempe, another name. I think that is probably your biggest name outside of Matthew Tkachuk, but a lot of people weren't talking about Matthew Tkachuk this year because of his injuries. But Adrian Kempe was another really, really good pick. You have a lot of really sneaky picks, and I love that you put Jesper Bratt on there. Great pick. That's a ball knower pick right there. I always am able to sneak him in my fantasy hockey leagues because people just forget about him. That is a consistent point scorer. Yes. Week to week.
Also what I did was I pulled up NHL 26's like overalls and what their attributes were, and I filtered it to have speed as the top attribute because I was like, I need
Davis. This is your Raiders Darius Hayward Bay team.
Yeah, I needed some speed. Yeah, but I like the name recognition. I did know all these guys except for probably that fourth line.
Yeah, I mean
that's when I needed some.
Your team is very consistent, top to bottom, right? I think for the most part, for your 4 forward lines, you have a bunch of guys who are minimum scoring 65 to 70 points minimum. And I really do appreciate the consistency because that is, I think, the mark of a very true plug and play team where you can mix and match based on play styles if you need to. But for the most part, that team is just going to be consistently hammering and threatening for 60 minutes.
Correct. That's what I wanted. Attack. And I wanted the like speed meet psychopath, like that fine line that you have there. But I did build this a certain way, which I'm happy in my build that it is like, okay, this team has an identity type thing.
I mean, another Cutter Gauthier. another 40-goal scorer this year in Anaheim. I mean, he's part of a big reason why that team is relevant again, right? Tied for 53rd in points with 69 points on the season. I mean, that's
a lot of what I did too as well was look at the rosters of the teams that are in the playoffs right now and go take
smart
some of their cheaper guys and then look at their stat lines.
Yeah.
Like Cutter, like Jackson Blake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great
Pavel
team. That's a
as well.
great team.
So that's my team. I'll stick to it. I like it. We should build these like
on NHL.
I was just about to say, is there some way we could have like a creative team and we put them all three through like a simulated season, all in the same like conference or division?
Yes.
I've done it before. That was a long time ago.
Send me your lineups. I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right, you sure you want mine?
I'll do it.
That was very good.
Yankee Clipper and Paper Bitch on the case.
Yeah. I thought for sure you were going to be looking at I thought you were going to look at like the Senators and pick like a Drake Batherson type player. That would have been a sick pick. Drake Batherson doesn't get the respect he deserves. But it's a very, very good.
There were a few guys where I thought, like, you know what, I really like this guy. Let's see what he, like, I feel like he's pretty underrated. And then I see him like, oh, no, he's very well compensated. Like, a couple guys that were in, like, the 10 to 11 mil. I'm like, I can't afford that.
To be honest, for me, one of those was Chychrun.
Yes.
I couldn't afford him because I assumed, I was like, oh, this guy's got to be underrated. No, I was like, oh, shit, I can't afford him. So, my team
rookie contracts, I think, was the way to do it.
Yes, there's only one player that was on all of our teams. And
Macklin Celebrini.
Yes, correct. So my line one,
that means no Hellebuck. That means no Hellebuck.
Which is outrageous.
It's absolutely outrageous.
Because he probably was like, I'm going to pay Henrik Lundqvist to come back out of retirement.
So my first line, center's Brady Tkachuk, alternate captain. My left winger, my captain is Gabriel Landeskog, my captain, left wing. Right wing, I have Macklin Celebrini there for line one. Line two, I have that power line in Montreal, Nick Suzuki, also alternate captain. Juraj Slafkovsky and Cole Caulfield from.
Wait, you just grabbed that whole line from Montreal.
Cole Caulfield. Am I supposed to? Is he from Denver? Like, is he a pioneer?
Wisconsin.
You're an animal.
Wisconsin.
Yes, I took that entire line from Montreal.
Thank you.
Suzuki, Slafkovsky, and Caulfield. That's my line two.
You picked the Conehead line.
Yep. Line three, my center's Logan Stankoven.
Good pick.
Massive bargain. Not even 900,000 for Stankoven. Left wing, one of my favorite players of all time is Matt Zuccarello, the Norwegian.
Yeah, I knew that.
New York.
It has
New York
to be
has
there.
rued the day that they got rid of him. I mean, that's a glue guy. You need a Matt Zuccarello.
There's multiple players on this team that are like that they shouldn't have gotten rid of. And my right wing on line three is Tom Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't think
so
6.5
we each have Wilson on line three as a right winger there.
That's where he belongs.
I don't think to be honest, truly 6.5 is overpaying for him. I don't think so because of what he brings and helps your team. Line four, my center is Eetu Luostarinen from the Panthers, the Finnish hard-nosed center. And my wingers are the Folignos, Marcus Foligno and Nick Foligno.
Yeah.
Are my
love
fourth
a good
line.
Foligno.
Yes. My defensive pairings, my first one is Cale Makar, who's my assistant. I'm one of my other assistant captains, alternate captain.
That surprises the hell out of me.
Why would you go with him?
He's got money to spend.
Best defenseman in the world.
Best scoring defenseman in the world.
Yes.
He is solid defensively. It's not the best part of his game, but he is solid defensively. And I paired him with Jackson Lacombe from Anaheim, who's
after Lacombe passed up that open net,
I don't care.
I wasn't going to put him on mine because I looked at him as well as a possibility.
It's not a loss if you learn from it. It becomes a lesson. My defensive pairing number two
took a loss in the playoffs when you lose.
It took this one straight from Carolina, Jacob Slavin and Keandre Miller. Another
I
player.
knew you would have Keandre Miller. We talked about him a couple weeks ago. I love Keandre
Rangers,
Miller.
For God's sakes. Like, seriously, like his cap hit, what is it? It's a lot, but 7.5. But then the Rangers
that's why I didn't go with that's why I didn't go with him.
But then the Rangers turned around and spent that or more on whoever was it Gavrikov that they got. So you got some Russian bum, and you got rid of Keandre Miller. By the way, Keandre Miller from Wisconsin, right? Get rid of him.
Keandre Miller's worth every penny.
Shocker, his team's still playing, and your team's sitting at home.
Didn't even have a chance to play.
Yeah. So Jacob Slave and Keandre Miller is my deep pairing too. And my third deep pairing,
you have Trouba.
More Canadians. Lane Hudson, who I'm very high on. He's fantastic. And then another one of my goons I have to have in here, Arbor Jack Guy.
Okay.
Straight. Well, I believe third in the league in penalty minutes. That's all I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throw him in there with
I gotta hear these goalies. I have to know who you're putting between the pipes.
My goalies, I have Freddie Anderson as my starter, and my backup is Jakob Dobish. Those are my two goalies.
You get to assemble a team and you pass up Hellebuck. I don't get it
because of the money aspect. Those two guys.
What's Freddie?
You pick him first.
Freddie Anderson is $2.75 million, and Dobish is $965,000. So literally, like, I spent so little.
But that's to me is the most important position. That's where I was okay spending as much money as
I have a question for you.
That's able to get Cale Makar, and
once Nick finishes his list, I have a question for both of you.
But taking that money there for Anderson and Dobish allows me to have like the Folinos and Luosterainen and that whole Canadiens line, like in Makar.
I like the way my roster's built better with Hellebuck.
And my scratches, my third goalie is Brandon Busey, also for Carolina. Cole Hudson, I also had on my team, Comlo, as my seventh defenseman.
Big upside
keeping it in the family. There. And then, of course, Matt Rempe.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick Matt Rempe.
Come on. It has to be Matt Rempe.
It's a good list.
It is my team. My coaches, by the way, Barry Trotz is my head coach. Head assistant or bench coach, your Don Zimmers, if you will, John Tortorella.
Yeah, it has to be Torts.
Defensive coach, Adam Foote, who's, I believe, now the head coach in Vancouver.
Yes, he is.
And then special teams coach, Glenn Gulutzin, the head coach, I believe, for the Stars. And then I took the goaltending coach for the Hurricanes, Paul Schoenfelder, because I have two of the Hurricanes goalies as mine. So I thought that was continuity-wise.
That's great.
$4.94 million.
Nick just doing more shit than he asked for. I hired all these coaches. Really? Did you calculate them into your cap? Probably.
They don't count for it.
All right, so
yeah, they don't.
So this first off, this is a great thing to do in place of a favorites or a top five. When I was constructing my team, my thought process was there's two people at each position for forwards that I wanted, and then I had like three defenders in mind, and then I knew I wanted Hellebuck, and then I built my team around that. So that was kind of like if I went through like a draft in my head, right? It was like, okay, first I'm going to pick Nathan McKinnon. Okay, then I got to have Jason Robertson because this dude is just fucking elite. And then I knew I needed Macklin. I knew I needed Kirill. I knew I needed Chikrin, and I needed the Ghost, and I knew I needed Hellebuck. And then the rest of it was like, I got to find a way to fill my roster out with guys that fit like what I'm trying to do with this core group of players and make it work money wise. And that's kind of how I went. That's kind of how I went through was I picked a couple of players at each position and then filled in around them with what I think the team would need for success. So I kind of want to hear about like what your processes were with how you picked your team.
That was my exact same process combo.
I had a feeling
I wanted my stars,
would be the same.
And then I wanted the stars that were my favorites, and then how do I build the team around that to either like to match them or to complement them, right? That's how I went about it.
So mine was different.
Could tell.
First was the glue guys that I want. Your Folinos, your Tom Wilsons, Zuccarellos. Those are the first guys I thought of. Was the guys that I think I need to have to be successful. And then, basically looking at what their salary hits were and eliminating people, right? Like eliminating a Josh Anderson saying, I don't need $5.5 million from him. I'd rather take the 6.5 for Tom Wilson, that type of thing. The Tkachuk brothers, right? Have both on there. Matthew Tkachuk's hit was so high, $9.5 million. And Brady's is 8.2, which is very high as well. But that extra difference to me allows me to go and when you add that up, get the whole Canadiens line, the Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Caulfield line, which I mean, you can't laugh at that. The last 2 years have been arguably the most productive line in the league. So,
but to make concessions to go for a second line seems like your process just confuses the heck out of me.
But no, that I just had them as a second line. That could easily be the first line. You could switch out the first line. I have the first line because I have, Kachuk and Landeskog and Celebrini. And to me,
I also thought the Landeskog pick was crazy because that dude is injury prone as hell. And you don't have anyone
on my captain. He's one of my favorite players.
He's got an assist.
Yeah, Colorado's just mowing through Minnesota right now.
Yeah, one of my favorite players ever. The guy to be able to come back from the injury he had in the rehab process and all that, for him to still be skating, to me warrants him being the captain of my team. So when Stevie upped the salary cap to $95 million.
I did not up it. That is the NHL salary cap for this season.
Because I originally had Bedard in my lineup, and I'm not the biggest Bedard fan, and so upping that allowed me to. And it sounds crazy. Oh, how would you do? I made some other concessions, like getting Luosterainen, and Stankoven. Like those were things that I was able to do. Manipulating the rise with the salary cap.
I mean, it's
changing like it did so quickly.
I still just have such a hard. I mean, like, granted, like it, like I don't want it to sound like I'm shitting on him. I like Gabriel Landeskog. I have a Gabriel Landeskog jersey shirt. Big fan of Gabriel Landeskog, but like for what his salary is right now, and if we're picking him right now, he's a guy who put up 35 points this season.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I want to win.
There's no reasoning with
he wins. He's a winner.
You guys send me your list. I'm going to plug these into an NHL team, and I'm going to have them play each other. We'll play 82 games against the three of us.
Are you able to put, because we have some guys that are the same?
Probably.
Are you able to?
Probably.
You should be able to. If you do a creative team, and the creative team is its own entity, and then when you
me and my roommates used to do this where we would draft teams and then play against each other, and we would have a season that stemmed for like a whole semester. It was awesome. And then Nick's just over there mashing triangle.
Yeah, Nick's team. That's what's going to end up happening.
Oh yeah, I hope if my team does not lead the league in penalty minutes, I would be upset. Cool. I would be mad because that's the other thing too, right? Like you said, you want it tailored to the way you want it. So as you know, I want physicality, I want toughness, I want defense, but you also have to have some of that balance, and that's where that Canadiens line comes in. The Coneheads, if you will.
Yeah, I mean the first criteria you mentioned, Stevie, was penalty minute.
Yeah, I know. This is why you suck at playing NHL.
We're gonna simulate the games. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna do this. Okay.
This does sound like a lot of fun. We need to.
Yeah, this was fun. I hope you guys can get Dougie Fresh in here next week to fill in for me to do the NHL stuff or the NBA stuff.
NBA way, yes. I've already started filling in some of my goons.
Well, get ready. Stevie might change the cap on you.
Yeah, that's probably true. Does the NBA even have a cap? I feel like it moves all the time. Anyway.
I did not change the cap. That is the official cap.
Stevie was an angel investor in the NHL this week.
That's going to take us to our What to Look For segment, brought to you, as always, by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true.
I'm watching hockey. I'm watching baseball. Those the two sports I'm going back and forth with. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have cooled on baseball. The Orioles just got their lunch handed to them in a 4-game series with the Yankees.
I mean, are you shocked?
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Hate to love them, but God damn it, do you love them? So yeah, I'm all in on the NHL right now. In fact, while we've been doing this, the Toronto Maple Leafs were awarded the first draft lottery, excuse me. So they won the draft lottery.
I was gonna say, how much does that matter for the NHL?
It matters. I mean, look at Macklin, right? Look at Bedard. The first
Matthew
pick,
Schaefer.
yeah, the first pick matters a lot, and kind of like what we've talked about in the past with you're getting the rights to sign that player, right? You get rights of first refusal pretty much, but usually the number one overall pick is ready to go. And to be able to go to play in a big town like Toronto, right? A storied franchise like Toronto who desperately needs some help.
I mean, it's like if the Cowboys got the number one pick in the NFL
That's
draft.
exactly, yeah. It's like that. Exactly like that. Good work. Good job, Nick. But yeah, so I'm all in on hockey right now. So I'll be tuning in for the playoffs. I am very interested in this Colorado Minnesota series because that is a rivalry matchup. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, catch me watching the playoffs here.
I got a couple. As you know, I like to have a couple off the wall ish. Men's lacrosse, one of the first round games. Then one of the most intriguing ones is Duke at number 4 Richmond. Got Spiders fever. Should be a great game.
That game's in
Richmond. In Richmond, yeah. Duke at Richmond. And then women's lacrosse, UMass at number 6 Navy, the Naval Academy. Number 6 overall seed for women's lacrosse. I think UMass is also like 14-1 or something like so. So it's one of those where, UMass is getting in because they're at such a high level at a lower caliber conference, and Navy being a buzzsaw, producing the way they are. So that's on the women's side. NCAA baseball, number 13 Oregon at number 1 UCLA. Then this one's for you, boy. Number 15, Spy God Virginia at number 7 Kansas this weekend.
Yeah,
weekend series.
This determines Big 12 regular season pretty much. Because if Kansas takes the series, you're not going to catch them.
What's interesting too about this is Kansas is not a baseball power like that.
No,
the same with West Virginia is not like that recent. Like Kansas, it's not like Kansas is there all the time. It's normally baseball wise, you have your SEC, your big, and your ACC schools that for the most part dominate that.
West Virginia's on the rise. We will always be a top 25 team. I'm going to go ahead and say that with the investments that have been made into West Virginia baseball, because as you know, the billionaire donor for West Virginia is Ken Kendrick, who is the owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So he's a huge baseball guy. Paul Skeens showed up to West Virginia over the offseason to pitch in their West Virginia's brand new state-of-the-art analytics lab thing that they built or whatever, and it's to maximize pitchers or whatever. So Paul Skeens went down there and threw a bullpen session. That's the type of investments that have been made to West Virginia. Kansas, that's one where I'm sure they've done some investments with that. I don't know how or where, how that happened, where Kansas is really good at baseball.
Yes. I mean, number 7,
you're thinking Big 12, you're thinking
that's hosting a super regional, basically, at that point.
Correct. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, Big 12, you would think
it. Did we host last year? We hosted a regional last year.
Yep. And last one here, soccer fans. Newest installment of El Clasico this weekend on Sunday. Real Madrid will travel to Camp Nou.
Yeah.
In Barcelona to take on rival Barca. Barcelona sits 11 points clear of Madrid in the La Liga table, but who cares? Because this is arguably the biggest
all bets are
domestic rivalry in global soccer, right, Kamlo? I mean,
it's up there. I mean, with how dominant both teams are in that league, yes. With the size of their trophy rooms, yes, this is probably the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, so
when you refer to me, please use the formal
dead
Barcelona.
Yes, but yes. So El Clasico, Real Madrid at Barcelona this weekend on Sunday. I think midday our time, 3:30 Eastern time. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Nope.
That's going to do it for us here at What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. For the boy, Stephen Vesci, and the man, Stephen Kamlo, I am the coach, Nick Vesci. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all of that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Yes. Woo! As we leave you, don't forget to be decent to each other. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.